kills more than salt, the worst fruit for your heart, according to science. Do you care about your health? And especially about your heart health? Then you need to know there's a silent food, a villain disguised as healthy, that might be sitting in your kitchen right now, without you even suspecting the danger it poses. The most surprising part? We're talking about something way more common, way more present, and way sneakier than you think. According to several studies, this food can overload your cardiovascular system, quietly increase the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and other serious diseases. And the worst, many people think they're doing their body good by eating it. Yeah, you might be risking your health every day, believing you're making a smart, healthy choice. But the truth is your heart could be getting silently sabotaged without you realizing it. Do you really know which foods put your life at risk? Or have you unknowingly been eating something that harms the most vital organ in your body, without anyone ever telling you? What you're about to find out in this video could literally change your life. And no, that's not an exaggeration. Get ready, because when you understand what's behind this big villain, you'll never look at your diet the same way again. Number 11. Ripe mango. Ripe mango is, without a doubt, one of the tastiest and most popular fruits worldwide. Its sweet, juicy flavor wins over any palate, making it a staple in breakfasts, desserts, and juices. But what many don't know is that when it's very ripe, its sugar levels hit the max. That means eating too much ripe mango can negatively affect health, especially if you want to protect your heart. When mango reaches its sweetest point, the fructose concentration, the fruit's natural sugar, shoots way up. So eating a very ripe mango gives your body a sugar load similar to processed sweets. This sugar spike overloads your pancreas, boosts insulin production, and over time contributes to insulin resistance. And here the domino effect starts, hitting the heart directly. Too much glucose in the blood triggers silent inflammation that damages blood vessels over time. This makes it easier for fatty plaques to build up in arteries, a process called atherosclerosis. Arteries become stiffer and narrower, making blood flow harder. This forces the heart to work harder, raising the risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. And all this can begin from seemingly harmless habits, like overeating very ripe fruit. Also, eating lots of natural sugar from mango raises triglycerides, another major risk factor for cardiovascular disease. The higher your triglycerides, the greater the chance of artery clogging and heart issues. And remember, these problems don't happen overnight. They're the result of years of poor food choices, often without the person realizing it. Sure, mango has important nutrients like fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins. But when it's super ripe, the balance between benefits and risks becomes clear, especially if eaten often and in large amounts. The key is always moderation and balance. After all, too much of anything, even natural foods, can bring unwanted consequences. And up to this point, we've talked about fruits that can be risky when eaten without control. But none come close to fruit number 1 on this list. Yes, there's a fruit that, according to science, is the most dangerous for your heart. You'll find out what it is in the last chapter of this video. So don't go away. Number 10. Very ripe banana. Few fruits are as popular as bananas. Convenient, accessible, and nutritious. They're part of millions of people's daily diets worldwide. But when bananas get very ripe, when the peel is dark and the flesh is super sweet, some risks pop up, especially for those with heart problems or wanting to prevent heart disease. Very ripe bananas have way more sugar than greener ones. That happens because as they ripen, banana starch turns into sucrose, glucose, and fructose, 3 simple, fast-absorbing sugars. Eating this type of banana regularly can cause glucose spikes in the blood, which are very harmful to the cardiovascular system. Besides the high sugar, potassium is another thing to watch. While essential for health, regulating blood pressure and muscle function, too much potassium can cause serious problems. When potassium overload happens, especially in people with kidney issues, it can trigger heart arrhythmias, meaning the heart beats irregularly, which in extreme cases can be fatal. Another risk linked to very ripe bananas is the boost in insulin production needed to handle the sugar load. If this keeps happening, insulin resistance develops, a condition tied not only to diabetes, but also higher chances of hypertension and heart disease. And the scary part is this can happen silently, with no obvious symptoms for years. The bad news is many people think bananas, even very ripe ones, are always healthy just because they're fruit. Not true. Sure, they have fiber, vitamins, and minerals, but the problem lies in the ripeness stage and especially in how much you eat. Eating a ripe banana once in a while isn't a problem, but making it a daily habit can seriously risk your heart health. So keep an eye on the ripeness of fruits you eat. Very ripe bananas need moderation, especially if you want to keep your heart healthy. And don't forget, if you think this risk is high, there's still a much worse fruit. It's the most dangerous one of all for your heart, and you'll learn what it is in the final chapter of this video. Number 9. Fresh fig. Fig is a delicious, juicy fruit loved by those who enjoy stronger flavors. Besides the unmistakable taste, figs are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and important minerals. But figs also have a side many don't know about, especially concerning heart health. This side relates directly to their high sugar content. Even though figs are fresh, they naturally have very high glucose and fructose levels. One fig can contain over 8 grams of sugar. When you eat 3 or 4 at once, which is common, you're taking in a glycemic load that can cause blood sugar spikes. Over time, these spikes act like poison for your heart. Eating figs constantly and excessively can speed up silent inflammatory processes in the body, which are very harmful to cardiovascular health. Chronic inflammation damages blood vessels, helps fatty plaques build up, and increases the risk of high blood pressure, clogged arteries, heart attacks, and strokes. The worst part, this damage builds silently over the years. Few people realize figs are also quite calorie-dense, which can contribute to weight gain if eaten too much. Extra weight is a top heart health enemy because it overloads your circulatory system, raises blood pressure, and worsens cholesterol and triglyceride levels. So a fruit that seems healthy can turn into a trap if you don't watch your portions. Of course, this doesn't mean you should cut figs out completely. When eaten moderately and as part of a balanced diet, they bring great health benefits. The problem again is excess, something common when we think natural foods are always safe. If you're already surprised by these fruits' impact on your heart, brace yourself. The worst is yet to come. There's a fruit that's scientifically the most harmful to cardiovascular health, and you'll find out what it is in the last chapter of this video. Keep watching, because the reveal is shocking. Number 8. Dried apricot. Dried apricot seems like a healthy choice at first glance. After all, it's just dehydrated fruit, right? Wrong. The dehydration process concentrates not only nutrients, but also natural sugars, turning apricots into a real glycemic bomb. Even a small portion can have very high sugar content, quickly raising blood sugar. This sudden glucose spike triggers a series of reactions in the body, including boosted insulin production. Over time, this promotes insulin resistance, which not only leads to type 2 diabetes, but also significantly raises heart disease risk. And the scary part is these effects often go unnoticed. Eating too many dried apricots also fuels inflammatory processes. Chronic inflammation is one of the heart's worst enemies because it damages blood vessels, encourages plaque buildup, and leads to high blood pressure. It's like silently sabotaging your arteries with what seemed like a harmless snack. Another problem is that dried apricots are small and tasty, so people tend to eat large amounts, making things worse. Unlike fresh fruit, which fills you up because of water content, dried fruits don't have this effect, making overeating easier and overloading your system. Of course, dried apricot isn't a total villain. In very controlled amounts and as part of a balanced diet, it can fit in. But usually, people underestimate dried fruit's impact and end up harming their health unknowingly. And if you think the damage stops here, know there's an even more dangerous fruit. It's by far the worst for heart health, and its identity will be revealed in the last chapter of this video. Keep watching, because what's coming might really surprise you. Number 7. Date. Dates are often seen as a superfood, high in fiber, minerals, and natural energy. They're recommended as healthy substitutes for processed sweets. But there's one detail most miss: the crazy amount of sugar in a single date. One can have up to 16 grams of sugar, which is super high for such a small food. This sugar overload makes dates almost like a glucose bomb in your body. When you eat one, it causes an immediate blood sugar spike, increasing insulin production. And doing this day after day leads to insulin resistance, higher triglycerides, and greater chances of hypertension and heart disease. Also, dates have a lesser-known effect. They can raise blood pressure, especially when eaten in excess. This happens because of the combo of high sugar and minerals, like sodium in some varieties. This duo is very harmful to people with high blood pressure or heart problems. Another concern is the binge consumption of dates under the natural food label. They're small, sweet, and addictive, making it easy to eat several at once, exceeding your daily sugar limit in minutes. When this becomes a habit, cardiovascular damage is inevitable. Of course, like other fruits, dates have positive sides when eaten occasionally and in small amounts. But for heart care, you must be very cautious with them. They're not as harmless as they seem. And heads up, if you think you've already seen risky fruits, prepare yourself. There's still a fruit worse than all the others, scientifically the most harmful for your heart. It'll be revealed in the last chapter of this video. You need to watch till the end. Number 6. Pineapple. Pineapple is a tropical fruit loved for its strong, refreshing flavor. It's known for digestive properties thanks to bromelain, an enzyme that helps break down proteins. Plus, it's rich in vitamin C and other antioxidants. But like everything in nutrition, balance is key. And for pineapple, overconsumption can become a problem, especially for the heart. Because pineapple is acidic and high in fructose, eating too much can cause inflammation in the digestive tract and even the circulatory system. That's because excess fructose is linked directly to higher blood triglycerides, one of the main villains behind heart diseases. Higher triglycerides lead to fat buildup in artery walls, creating plaques that block blood flow. This raises risks of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. So that daily pineapple juice that seems so innocent might not be so good depending on how much and how often you drink it. Another side effect of too much pineapple is increased body acidity, which can worsen reflux and cause silent inflammation. These inflammations may seem minor but are powerful triggers for chronic diseases, including heart conditions. After all, constant inflammation is a major factor behind artery aging. Plus, because pineapple tastes great and is refreshing, people tend to overdo it, especially in juices and desserts. This causes them to unknowingly consume loads of sugar and acidity that gradually harm heart health. So pineapple isn't an absolute villain, but it's not totally harmless either. The secret is how much and how often you eat it. And if you think it already poses a risk, wait till you find out which fruit is the most dangerous of all. It'll be revealed in the final chapter of this video. And believe me, this info can completely change how you see food. Number 5. Persimmon. Persimmon easily wins you over with its sweet taste, soft texture, and shiny look. Many consider it a natural dessert because it's so sweet. But few realize that despite seeming harmless, persimmons can be a real trap for heart health. That's mainly because of their very high natural sugar load. One persimmon can have over 20 grams of sugar, nearly 5 teaspoons. That's a lot, especially for people with blood sugar or cholesterol issues. Eating this much sugar often causes blood sugar spikes that make insulin production soar. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance and inflammation in the body. The inflammation from this metabolic imbalance hits your cardiovascular system directly. It damages blood vessel walls, helps plaques build up, narrows arteries, raises blood pressure, and forces your heart to work harder. This constant strain raises your chances of heart attacks, strokes, and other serious heart problems. Another worry is that persimmons, besides being super sweet, are quite calorie dense. Eating too much can cause weight gain, another big heart risk. And as we know, extra weight worsens hypertension, diabetes, and high cholesterol, creating a dangerous combo for heart health. Of course, eating persimmons occasionally in small amounts is fine. The problem is treating this fruit as harmless and eating it in large quantities, thinking you're doing your body good, when you might be speeding up silent processes that harm your heart. And get ready, because if you're surprised so far, the most dangerous fruit for your heart, the one science says tops the risk charts, hasn't been revealed yet. It's in the last chapter of this video, and I promise, you really need to know which one it is. Number 4. Watermelon. Watermelon basically screams refreshment and hydration. It's over 90% water, perfect for hot days or times you want to feel light. But this lightness can be misleading. Despite being watery, watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That makes it a fruit that, if eaten too much, can be harmful to heart health. Because watermelon sugar is absorbed super fast into the bloodstream. It causes blood sugar spikes, followed by sudden drops, forcing the pancreas to pump out lots of insulin. Doing this over and over creates the perfect conditions for insulin resistance, a major precursor to heart disease. Also, the constant blood sugar and insulin spikes inflame the endothelium, the layer lining blood vessels. This harms circulation, encourages plaque buildup, and raises risks of hypertension, heart attacks, and strokes. What seemed like a refreshing fruit turns into a silent threat in this context. Another lesser-known fact is that eating lots of watermelon can raise triglycerides. That's because the liver converts excess sugar to fat to store it, increasing blood fat levels, which is very bad for the heart. This doesn't mean you should cut watermelon from your diet. The issue is eating too much, too often, thinking that since it's watery, you can eat unlimited amounts. That's a wrong idea, and understanding this is crucial if you want to protect your cardiovascular system. And if you're starting to worry about how these fruits affect your heart, know the most shocking part is still to come. There's a fruit that's by far the worst for heart health. It'll be revealed in the last chapter of this video. You'll be shocked. Number 3, orange. Orange is definitely one of the most loved and eaten fruits worldwide. Its citrus flavor and high vitamin C make it a go-to for boosting immunity. But when it comes to heart health, it's not all good. Despite its benefits, orange has traits that can be harmful if eaten too much, especially in some conditions. The first problem is the high fructose content. Eating the fresh fruit already delivers a lot, but the real problem is orange juice, which can pack the sugar of 4 or 5 fruits into one glass. This causes blood sugar spikes, stressing the pancreas, and pushing insulin production way up. This constant insulin surge, paired with frequent fructose intake, promotes chronic inflammation in the body. As we know, inflammation is a top trigger for heart disease. It damages artery walls, encourages plaque buildup, and quietly raises risks of heart attacks, strokes, and hypertension. Another important thing is orange's acidity. If you have reflux, gastritis, or digestive inflammation, eating too much orange can make things worse. This indirectly impacts heart health, as ongoing inflammation raises the risk of cardiovascular dysfunctions long-term. Also, many don't realize excess fructose links to higher bad cholesterol and triglycerides, key markers to assess heart disease risk. So that daily orange juice habit, thinking it's healthy, might actually backfire if not done in moderation. Like the other fruits mentioned, orange isn't an absolute villain, but you need to eat it consciously and balanced. Too much of anything is bad. And if you've seen how seemingly healthy habits can harm your heart, imagine the impact of the most dangerous fruit of all. It'll be revealed in the last chapter of this video. And believe me, this info is essential for anyone wanting to protect their life. Number 2, very ripe apple. Apple is definitely one of the most recommended fruits for health. It helps digestion, controls cholesterol, and even prevents some diseases. But here's a detail few know. When an apple gets very ripe, its benefits can take a hit, especially for heart health. As apples ripen, their carbs turn into simple sugars like glucose and fructose. That means the riper the apple, the higher the sugar amount. And as we've seen, too much sugar in the blood is one of the biggest villains for the cardiovascular system. Eating very ripe apples often can cause blood sugar spikes, especially in sensitive people or those predisposed to diabetes and metabolic problems. These spikes push insulin production too high, leading over time to insulin resistance, a main trigger for obesity, hypertension, and heart disease. Plus, high blood sugar inflames the endothelium, the blood vessel lining. When inflamed, it's more vulnerable to fat plaques. This cascade effect can quietly lead to heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure. Another thing is many people eat ripe apples thinking they're making a healthy choice, not realizing that depending on ripeness and amount, they might actually be stressing their heart. This doesn't mean apples should be cut out, but you must watch ripeness and eat with balance. If you're surprised by this, get ready. Because despite all these warnings, the most dangerous fruit of all isn't revealed yet. It's without a doubt the biggest heart risk. You'll find out exactly which one in the next and last chapter of this video. Number 1. Dried fruits in general. Yes, we've reached the most important chapter of this video. And the answer to the question you've been carrying all along is clear. Dried fruits in general are, according to many studies, the worst for heart health. This includes dried mango, banana chips, raisins, dried apricots, dates, and so many other dehydrated versions that seem healthy but actually hide a huge danger. The dehydration process removes almost all the fruit's water, drastically concentrating natural sugars. This means a small portion of dried fruit has as much sugar as several fresh fruits combined. For example, a portion of banana chips can have as much sugar as 3 or 4 fresh bananas, which obviously has a massive impact on the body. When you eat dried fruits, your body quickly absorbs that high glucose load, causing intense sugar spikes. This forces the pancreas to work overtime producing insulin and controlling blood sugar. Over time, this metabolic overload favors insulin resistance, fat buildup in the liver, higher triglycerides, and consequently cardiovascular diseases. Also, too much sugar in the blood promotes chronic inflammation that attacks arteries, helping plaque build up that blocks blood flow. This starts serious problems like hypertension, heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure. The scariest part? Many people eat dried fruits daily, thinking it's a healthy choice. Another big issue is that dried fruits are small, sweet, and easy to chew, so they don't fill you up like fresh fruits do. This makes it easy to eat large amounts without noticing, and end up consuming absurd sugar and calorie loads in minutes. So if there's one fruit, or rather a group of fruits, that truly deserves the title of worst for your heart, it's dried fruits. That doesn't mean you can never eat them again, but you have to be extremely cautious. Knowing how to measure portions, eat them occasionally, and most importantly, be aware of the risks is key to protecting your health and your heart. And to keep getting the best videos for your health and well-being, subscribe to the channel. It exists for one simple reason: to help you become a stronger and happier person. And in the video now on your screen, I reveal the pepper recipe that destroys diabetes, cleans your arteries, and saves your heart. To watch that video, just click on the screen. See you in the next video.